Hi everyone. So welcome to the first episode of what we are going to be calling the LSM Experience. And the idea behind this podcast is the most common question we get asked as people associated with this program is what is LSM? Because this is a very unique program to IIM Kozhikode and it is a one of a kind program in India. So the idea behind this is we go around and sort of take interviews of people related to this program, whether that be faculty, whether that be chairpersons, whether that be alumni, or whether that be batchmates, such as the one of the superwoman batchmates we have with us today, which is Viswa Laxmi Venugopal.
Hello.
Wow, very awkward start, but
Was it not superwoman enough for you?
No.
All right, Shrey.
Yes.
Bring it on.
Yeah, so coming back to the idea of this podcast, so we tell the stories of these people, the very real stories of these people, and how this program has affected the way they think and affected their stories, and what you can expect when you're, say, looking to join this program in any way, shape, or form. So with that, we can begin the podcast. So welcome to the very first edition of the LSM Diaries. Right. So. Okay, Vishwa. The first thing we can start off with is you have a very unique undergrad. So why don't you tell me about your undergraduate and what you did there, and we can start us off from there.
Sure. So after 12th grade, me being me, I wanted to do something really good and serve people. And so I decided to be a physiotherapist. I did my undergrad at Manipal University. And it was a very good experience. Took 4.5 years to experience the experience. And all things said and done, it was a very good degree. I really enjoyed doing it. But somewhere along the line, I realized that I had a knack for management and hence I'm here.
So what tipped you off that, this is something you want to pursue? Because a physiotherapist to an MBA student is not exactly what one would call conventional. So what tipped you off that management is something you want to pursue? Because at some point you also started to decide your own business. We have an entrepreneur in the house. And where along the way, what motivated you that?
Right. So Manipal is a cluster of colleges and there's a lot of opportunity there, and hence I was very excited. As a first year college student, I joined a lot of committees and clubs and ended up in managerial positions by the end of it. And so I realized I liked working with people. I liked doing that whole thing, planning, coordination, all of that. And as for my business, what happened was after my undergrad, I started speaking more to one of my friends called Smriti. Shout out to Smriti. Who is my co-founder.
Right.
She is absolutely amazing, and the two of us bonded over work ethic and health issues. And hence we decided to do something about it. So health issues combined with us as female physiotherapists who could not go for home care because of certain aspects like safety and all of that. We combined the two to give home health care services that focuses on allied health like physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. And we formed Ahana and Her, which is my company. Okay. Was my company. Oops.
Was?
Yeah.
Are we getting inside information?
Now I'm full-time MBA student.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Alright, so since you are a full-time MBA student, where along your entrepreneurship did you feel that, okay, MBA is something I want to do?
It was the opposite. It was along my MBA that I kind of did entrepreneurship. Let me explain. So by the end of my internship, which ended in Jan, I had to come back home because my father
after your undergrad?
Yes, after my undergrad. My father had a health crisis, and so I had to come back to my hometown, which is Kozhikode. So yes, and that's when I was supposed to be prepping for CAT, but that alone wasn't enough for me. And like I mentioned, it happened so organically, the start of the company, while I was talking to Smriti, that it happened during my CAT prep time. So yeah, it didn't count as WorkX, but a lot of people told me, why are you starting if it doesn't count as WorkX? But that was not the point of it. The point of it was because we wanted to help people, and I had a certain affinity towards that aspect.
Right. Okay. So, tell me about how you discovered LSM. Like, how did you find out about this program, and how did you figure out that this is something that you would be interested in, that you would want to give 2 years of your life to?
Right. Way before giving CAT, I did research a lot on IIM Kozhikode specifically. Like I mentioned, I wanted to end up here, closer to home, wanted to be closer to my father as well. And so I stumbled across LSM and the one downloadable PDF that spoke about what exactly it is. It had one paragraph and then the eligibility criteria. And I saw that
Yeah,
cons.
we've all seen that PDF.
Yes, and I saw that cons had 75 percentile. I was like, that's maybe doable, maybe if I'm being ambitious. And so I gave it a shot. Like I wanted to give it a shot, like no matter how. But fortunately, I scored well in CAT. But still, LSM was what I was passionate about, and so I applied.
Right. So, what did you think about this program before you joined?
So I think the different aspects, I think the PDF spoke about how it's an innovative course and how it's very unique and one of the kind in the country. And there are only 53 people that get selected every year amongst everyone who writes,
Right.
Gives CAT. And that's a small percentage. So I wasn't very optimistic about it, but I did think that what it had to offer was pretty unique, considering all the different sectors that it's working with, like tourism, healthcare, which is again something I'm from. So all of those aspects, like it really interested me. But after coming here, I realized it's much more than what the PDF had to say.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, the PDF is very minimal about what this course is. And that's the point of this podcast. So, there we go.
Like and subscribe.
My- Okay, sure. Tell me about your interview experience. So now you're interested in the program. You get a call for an interview. Did you give the PGP interview as well?
Yes, I did.
Right. So what do you think was a differentiator between an interview for a LSM and an interview for PGP? And tell me about the experience as a whole.
Right. In my experience, I don't know how different it is for other people, but for me, the PGP interview was more technical. They wanted to look at your, say, hard skills, whereas the LSM interview cared more about you as a person
Right.
and your soft skills.
Okay.
So, like, how that comes across is what they care about. Like, just how much you care about issues that concerned the people around you and the place you're from, or like the places. So, yeah.
Right. Okay, so the interview is done. You get your final convert. You come to IIM Kozhikode as part of the PGP LSM 05 cohort. It's term 1 and you're halfway through the term. What do you feel about this program then? Have your feelings changed from what you initially thought? What is the overall feel?
I think that's when we ask our own ourselves a question that we've been asked so many times in the interview: why MBA? So that's the point where we really, question our choices.
Yeah.
But
So for context, the first term of an MBA is generally the hardest, most hectic term, and one of the most hectic periods people go through in their lives in general. At least that's what alumni have told us, if we are to believe them. But yeah, so it's a difficult period of time. So that's why the why MBA question comes up a lot.
But I saw that there are people in my cohort that helped me a lot, and hence I was also very. I also wanted to help different people, and that's where LSM I think stood very differently compared to other B schools and other PGP sections. In my opinion, was that we valued collaboration over competition, and that's easier said than done when you're actually competing for different placement opportunities during your SIPs. But the way we actually helped each other, we took multiple interviews for each other. We had GD sessions. Even people who finished and who had their placements done made a group and tried to help people out. So that's the kind of cohort that we have. That's the kind of people that LSM as a course attracts. And I think that is very unique.
Right. I think you took my interview at some point.
HR interview only.
How the turns table, Viswa. But yeah, I think that is a very important aspect, because in a competitive environment, and especially in a B school such as an IIM, and that competitive environment, it's very, very easy to just focus on the competition aspect of it. Where that culture of collaboration over competition, where the situation is win-win rather than a win-lose, is very, very difficult to build in this kind of environment. But somehow I feel like us as a batch have been able to build that culture.
Yes, we have. And I'm super proud of it. And I'm happy that.
I think that's something all of us value a lot.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. ठीक है. So let's circle back to the entrepreneurship. So, now we are in the third term of LSM. We have had a good range of courses, good range of professors, good range of learnings inside and outside the classroom. So how do you feel your view on entrepreneurship has changed with this course being the changing factor?
Right. So I think when you say entrepreneur, it seems very, co-founder or founder, profits, like that's the aspect it takes. But I think after taking LSM, and maybe like the interviewers saw that element in me, and that's why they took me into LSM. But this course in general makes you think about social entrepreneurship mostly. And if I were to do something more in entrepreneur, like be an entrepreneur in the future, I think it would be more along the lines of something that has a societal impact.
Right. So the human element per se,
Yes, the human element
is what has been changed. Where with management focusing so much more. I think we discussed this a bit, but like with management now changing with the technological waves that are happening right now as we speak, that human element becomes ever more valuable.
Exactly. So I think LSM helps you prioritize that and understand it better as to why that is important, and not just the human element as in, okay, it's not HR only, but it's also about the decisions that you make that will impact the society as well as the environment around you. So that's where we are more, I would say, all-rounded. The
inclusive
thinking.
growth.
Yes, inclusive growth. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's a good view to have. So what do you think differentiates us from the PGP cohort? Because at the end of the day, all of us are doing an MBA, but yet this is a different course. Even though our placements are clubbed, it's a different course. Recruiters look for different things, right? So what is so? I'll pose the question in this way. As a prospective LSM student, or as a prospective recruiter looking to take an LSM student, what are the qualities that they're looking for?
Right. So, like I mentioned, and you mentioned the human element. So, the fact that we are able to think not just in terms of profits and numbers, but about every aspect of business that is important, and with technology, how we should also empower say our employers, as well as everyone in the community, is a very important aspect that we learn. We learn to think about things in different perspectives and not just in terms of profit growth, although that is also important. Yeah.
Fine. So I think we will head into a segment called what we will call mini series, where I ask you almost rapid fire questions and you answer and try to keep it within a minute.
Okay, I will try.
Yeah. Does that work?
The yapper inside me does not approve, but okay.
Yeah, chalo. First question being, what has been your favorite course? It can be a course that we have taken, doesn't matter if it's a PGP course or an LSM course, but as part of the LSM program, what has been your favorite course so far, and what is your key learning from it, key takeaway?
Okay, so I'd say my favorite course was macroeconomics because of Professor Stanu sir. I think all of us as a cohort can agree. So shout out to Stanu sir, incredible professor.
Lovely person.
Yes. So that was one of my favorite courses. But if you want to ask me about LSM specifically, I would say readings and literature was very interesting, because for our final grade we had to do a musical, And while it sounds
A full 1 hour live musical.
1.5 hours.
1.5 hours.
And we had different people from our class who are so incredibly talented.
Shout out Pankhuri.
Pankhuri,
She will feature
Rohit.
soon.
Yes. All of y'all, I think they took out the time, the effort to make sure that it's a decent enough, like none of us have theatre experience.
Right.
But they made sure that it was a decent enough play, a musical. It was really an incredible experience. I did not think that that's something that I would do here in MBA, because everyone tells us about how stressful it is. But that's why LSM is LSM, because with stress comes fun.
Right. Widening horizons.
Yes.
But I think it was a very, very unique experience for a lot of us, because like you said, none of us had done theatre before professionally at all, maybe school plays a little bit and that too some of us, so fun times. Anyway, so okay, next question. What does a day in the life of Viswa Laxmi Venugopal as an LSM student look like?
Okay, so it starts by me skipping breakfast, even though I say that I will not. Sorry, mom.
Us right now. But yes.
Yeah, sorry, mom. Okay, and we have a few classes in the morning, usually 3 classes, and then we have a lunch break, after which again classes, another 2 hours. After that, usually we end up taking a nap, because somehow we are always lacking sleep. I think that's
the story of an MBA
MBA student. Always sleep comes first. And so after that, we always have some of the other group project, I feel. Like every other day we have some assignment or some submission or some reading. And so we will be at the library group studying. Or you'll see us at Silver Spoon, me specifically, I mean all of us, and amphitheater as well, where we usually sing and stuff. So I think we're all bad at singing. There are like 2 of us who can sing, but you'll see us singing and
Shout
dancing.
Shout out Pankhuri.
Again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like we're trying to make the most out of the college life, socializing, all of that, but also we have a lot of deadlines. So
right.
balancing between the two.
Time management.
Trying to.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so tell me about a great interview experience you had, either to get into this course or for an SIP, just part of this course, and like an interesting conversation that you had.
So during the SIPs, I had like 2 interviews from the same company. So basically, we had an entire conversation about photography, which I really it's something that I like and I'm passionate about. I'm not very good at it, but I do what I can. So yeah, we had a whole conversation about photography, and then we also spoke about how the different delivery boys or men that come into our house, say Myntra, Swiggy, Zomato, anything. So the interviewer told me about how he always offers them a glass of water, and that was something that I don't know, I didn't think about it, and it felt very non-LSM at the moment. But that was one of my...
No human element there.
No human element, 0 points for that. But it's something that I told the interviewer as well, that it's going to be one of my key takeaways from the interview. And like that's something that I think all of us should consider. Like they're bringing us our stuff sometimes in the hot sun, so just a glass of water means a lot.
Sun, rain, fog, snow,
exactly.
Everything.
But not snow here, but yes, not in Kozhikode. But yeah, so just that small thing I think mattered a lot, and that was one of, like, because it was just a very trivial thing, but it really opened my eye to something that I didn't do. That was my key takeaway, and I hope that people who watch this video will start practicing the same.
Good practices.
Yes.
So, as maybe a prospective LSM student or maybe a prospective recruiter, what can they expect this program has to offer that is, unique to it?
Right. So, like we already spoke about, it is very innovative. It's very different, and it's the only program that is there in the entire nation, right? So you are essentially looking at 53 students out of everyone who wrote CAT. So there is a reason why we're here, and the reason is definitely because we have a passion towards different things that concern the society, and we also care about the people around us and the environment, right? So that's why we're here, and I think that shows uh, a complete all-round nature to LSM.
Right.
So I think that's where we are different. As for what to expect as a student, I would say that it's more fun than PGP, but that's a personal opinion. So take that as you will. But I've had fun doing this course, definitely. Half of what I've done already.
Yeah. So, in your view, how much of it overlaps with a typical MBA, like a typical PGB program, and do we miss out on anything? Like, would you say?
I think mainly a lot of very tech oriented stuff we might miss out on a little bit. Like if you want to deep dive into certain subjects, then I don't know if like that's being done at LSM. But as far as like every other subject, we do have a overview basically, or like some sort of the superficial. We do get enough knowledge about each and every subject to some extent, is what I would say. And we've also had different, I think LSM in general is very exciting because we have courses like DTI as well, where we literally in one term, our final project was to come up with an entire product of our own. So
Right.
that's where you can hone your entrepreneurial skills.
Right.
So that's also interesting, I feel.
Yeah, I feel as a course when it comes to LSM, yes, there's quite a bit of overlap with PGP, but few of our courses are a little more condensed.
Yes.
And a little more to the point. So there's some externalities which are cut out. So that's why when you mention that deep dive aspect, if you want to do, that probably will not come out that well in a few of the courses, right? But that is the point. So I think this is something we hear as management students all the time, but management is as much a humanity as it is a science. Whether or not Taylor agrees is a different issue, but so that is what LSM brings to the table, because that humanities aspect and the perspectives that you get from that, from courses such as sociology for management, right?
And I think not just from our courses, there's a reason why you're doing this.
Correct.
Because we have so many diverse people. So
Right.
the learnings we get from each other,
Physiotherapists.
not just that, but the learnings we get from each other are so, I think, more diverse, and it's really different than what you'd expect from, say, a PGP or a normal MBA course. So that's where I think as a student also, like you asked earlier, I didn't mention this, but really the people that you meet here in your cohort are gonna help you gain so many different perspectives that are going to help you in the long run. So, yeah.
It really shapes the way you think.
Exactly.
It really does.
It does.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we can, I think the final question we can end this interview on is, what is the one thing you want people to know about this course if they are doing research? Again, as just the one thing you feel sets this course apart.
Right. So I would definitely say this is the next big thing. Like, I get that this is just being offered, LSM is just being offered at IIMK at the moment. And whether you choose it for IIMK, the brand or whatever, but I think you will finally end up loving this course. We have a few people who necessarily didn't know a lot about LSM when they joined.
Me being one of them, but yes.
But exactly. Yeah. So what are your thoughts after?
We will, it's your interview.
Okay. So it's definitely something that helps you understand a lot of, like we mentioned, different perspectives and all of that. So yeah.
No, okay. I think we can end it at that. Yes. I think we have talked enough
Great
about
conclusion.
This. So thank you so much, Viswa, for joining me on this very special, very first episode of the LSM Experience. I hope you guys enjoyed, and here's to a lot more of this, a lot more episodes of this, and a lot more diverse set of people to be sitting here with me and my friend Groot.
Yes.
So thank you guys for watching. Cheers.